The quick and dirty guide to making a tulpa. If you are here, then it's fair to assume you have already learned a bit about what tulpas are and what they aren't. So how do you begin making one, anyhow? First of all, you aren't going to need any ritual equipment. If you find yourself surrounded by pentagrams, black salt and candles, then you've made a very expensive mistake. Sorry, you've been reading the wrong search results. Everything you are going to need, you already have. A brain. Typically, this is your own brain, and preferably still in your skull and in a working state. As with anything, preparation is key. Fortunately, the whole process begins with preparation, and it's integral to the act of forcing. That is, bringing your tulpa into tulpahood. Ask yourself, what sort of companion you'd like. There really is no hold bars when it comes to this, so don't feel guilty about wanting a friend or something more than that. Plenty of tulpamancers find themselves in a relationship of sorts with their tulpas, and it's not shameful. Neither is it some vast power hierarchy that you're going to have to negotiate in order to ensure you don't cause any offense. It is your brain, and no one outside of that is permitted to tell you what to think, unless it's going to cause you harm or distress. A tulpa isn't necessarily a form of itself. Just as when you look at a photograph of a person, it isn't that person, but merely a representation of them. Now, this isn't to say that a form isn't important. In fact, it's one of the first, most strongest connections that you can make with them. From appearances, you can garner much more than simply first impressions. We relate to others by how they look, from the way they dress, or don't, their expressions, emotions, and so on. Quite often, tulpamancers will look to popular fiction and at characters they are familiar with. You'll find a broad spectrum of ideas from TV shows that are an obsession to those in books or stories like manga. Many will often create their own OCs themselves and have a strong understanding about how they work, their personality, and so on. Making tulpas of real people is a touchy subject, as is making tulpas which believe they absolutely are the character living in the TV show, manga, or whatever. Doing so, you're simply setting yourself up for unnecessary stress and drama. A tulpa should always know that they are a tulpa, and not something else. Are they actually a brain-sucking cyber demon coming to take over your soul? No. But there's no reason you can't pretend, if this is a fun thing to do, so long as you accept the truth that they are a tulpa, and always will be. During forcing, it's more important to stick to the facts. The first step is key to quick and dirty tulpamancy. To sum up, have a character in mind and stick to it. Understand their personality and quirks and emotions. Know them like you would any close friend or relation in your mind. If you have reference materials, then use them, but don't get bogged down too much in the process. So, forcing itself. This is where you can find guides that stretch into the aeons. Feel free to look them up, but I would like to propose something very simple. Simply, don't overcomplicate matters. A tulpa is, as its most basic principle, an imagined other. If you can think of someone in your head, real or invented, and have a conversation with them, then you have the premise of a tulpa. From there, you can add more to it, and make the whole thing as complicated as you like. So, this is what you need to do. Ask yourself, what would I do if my tulpa was here right now? Actually, more importantly, ask yourself, what would they do if they were here right now? You don't have to plan every conversation with them like you're writing a novel and everything has to be perfect. It won't be. In fact, it's better if you do make mistakes. Mistakes are wholly necessary in learning. Just wing it. Make believe. Pretend that they are fully formed already and present with you. The real magic, the only magic you need here, isn't from some vast esoteric tomb or Tulpanomicon. It comes from your imagination. If you could meet your idol, your tulpa, then what would you ask them? What answers do you think you'll get? Now, maybe you have a gist, or maybe some random gibberish comes to mind, so run it through their voice, in your head, as though you are actually talking back and forth. No doubt, it will feel awkward at first, just like in real life when you meet someone and sit and talk about the weather or twiddle your thumbs. But keep trying, and it will become easier, I promise. One thing that can help is the old precept of improv. Yes, and. Whenever you or your tulpa make a conversation and come to the end of a statement, then acknowledge it. Yes, and. Continue from there in a back and forth fashion. With time and practice, it will become easier and less clunky, I promise. This has also been referred to many times within the community as look it and bloviate. With this in mind, there is no reason you can't make a tulpa right now, this instance, if you want. I do, however, recommend that you stick to one, at least at this time. If you're prone to going on tangents at every new trend, then exercise a little patience and commit to getting to know each other. There is, after all, lots and lots to discover. If you want to find out more, then I recommend you join Tulpa Central on Discord. You'll find me there, Obsidian, as well as my tulpas. There are thousands of others who can help, as well as friends waiting to be made. So thank you for watching.